Welcome to the introduction and general overview of the EDAX Team EDS software. In this software movie, we'll have a basic review of the project panel and the Advanced Properties tab. We'll do a full review of the user profile and associated settings, and then spend time reviewing the status bar, environmental panel, and activity bar, so that you can make the most of getting started with EDAX Team EDS. To start, we'll log in by either creating a new username by clicking on Create New, or we could enter an existing username and account, and then clicking on the technique that we're interested in. This may vary based on what techniques and hardware you have available. We'll now log in with a project. I've predefined the Software Movies project by clicking on Create and giving it a name. We could also recall any of the previous projects or even use the Explorer function to search through all projects that we've done from this user login. First, we'll see where the project panel is located. The project panel is going to be your main area where all of your data is stored and then subsequently recalled. As you collect more and more data, you'll see this project panel grow. You can assign sample names to every project, and very easily you add your sample name. And you could change that anytime. You could rename using the text icon or delete. This is going to bring us to our custom folder, which we'll review after the user profile and when we get to more details of the project panel. Full details of the project panel and the export, import, and reporting functions will be in a separate software movie. Next, we'll go over to the Advanced Property tab. And as you can see, there are many different areas. These will bring you to the most detailed aspects of your system. These will be reviewed in full detail in the Advanced Properties software movie. Next, we'll take a look at our environmental panel. You can see here on the lower right hand side that we have a schematic of the SEM and the associated hardware. Right now my Octane detector is turned off as indicated by the red icon here on the bottom. To turn on, I simply click on the icon. It turns yellow as it's cooling down and opens up my Advanced Properties tab to display the cooling. The environmental panel is going to keep track of the SEM and detector conditions, even as we change them throughout our work. You could get at any information simply by hovering over the associated area on the schematic. So the column conditions will open up when I hover over the column, and the detector conditions will open up as I'm hovering over the detector. Likewise, stage positions will open up. Now we'll go into the user profile. The icon here indicates each user's individual icon that can be assigned in the profile panel. You could switch between users by clicking on the Switch User, and at any time you could go to the Help menu, which will open up your Help menu, or About. One important thing to note here is when you click on About, you have the option to view your user manual. This will allow you to also save it as a PDF or even print it out if you'd like a hard copy. By clicking on the user profile icon, it opens up all of the options associated with user profile, such as changing the profile image, language, a default quantification method. In this case, our EZAF is our standard model, but we do have other options available. We also have variations in how we do our peak ID and peak to background filter, and where we assign our quantitative routine type. Here's where I'll explain a little bit about pulse processing. The EDAX software gives you the options to turn on and off pileup processing. You could have it turned off altogether from the software. There's still going to be hardware in play for pileup processing. You could turn it on and do a frontline approach to pileup correction, or activate one of our advanced smart pileup consideration that models the amount of pileup peaks or artifacts that would be anticipated. Those peaks can be modeled and subtracted from the actual spectrum from the cleanest spectra analysis. We have various other options, such as enabling tooltips, which gives you more information about any icon in the software, auto reveal settings, balloon tips, all helping out the user. The startup animation gives you a quick run through when the software starts, alerting you to what the hardware conditions are at. Various other options allow you to control how the software behaves, some of the panels that open up or pop up. You can activate the automatic detector shutdown after an activity. This function is for EBSD. The status bar items is very important for EDS analysis and detector monitoring. We'll open up the status bar, and what this does is allows us to select items that will be quickly displayed here at the bottom of our status bar. These are customized for any user, and you can select up to 8 that will be displayed. There are also SEM warning triggers. When you click on those allow you to enter in values that you consider a normal working range. Anytime you're within those ranges, all the buttons will be green. Anytime outside of your ranges, they'll pop up red. In addition, you'll have an information button or an eye icon that will pop up in the environmental panel located at the lower right. Finally, you have the ability to set a custom image folder location. This allows you to assign a file path by clicking on this icon and telling it where you want your file path to be. You can also give a default image type, bitmap, PNG, TIFF file, and JPEG. This custom image folder allows you to store any active data that you see on the screen by using the folder icon, which then sends it to this folder. So even during analysis or acquisition, you could send images, spectra, image overlays over to the folder location. It's one of the quickest and easiest ways of getting your data out of the software and into an easily shareable file format. That image folder will then be located here, and you could get at that anytime simply by clicking on that icon. I'll explain one of the behaviors of our software. Anytime you see a triangle like this, it might be solid or outline. If it's outline, then as soon as you remove your mouse, the panel will collapse. However, if you hover over it, it opens up, and if you click on it, so right now I mouse clicked with the left mouse click, and it turned in solid. So if I remove my mouse, then it stays open. The activity bar is what we see when we look at the top. This is where all of our data collection is going to occur. The data collection types are spectrum only. The important thing to remember about spectrum only is that it's a survey mode, and the data collection is going to occur wherever the SEM beam is currently in spot mode or raster, or even line or reduced area. But it's up to the SEM to define the area of collection. In Spectrum only, the data is not saved automatically into the project panel because it's a survey-only mode. Point analysis mode allows the EDAC system to take beam control, collects your image, defines your points, and collects a single or multi-point collection of data, which is automatically stored in the project panel. Mapping allows you to do your chemical imaging. Line scan does a line profile. And then we have areas for reviewing data and designing reports. This concludes the introduction and general overview of the Team EDS software.